Secret Wars is coming, and it's coming to the MCU sooner than you may think. Secret Invasion will be the newest TV show in the line of projects building up to one of the most epic battles in all of comic book history, and it'll be here in a few months. Many people have been nervous about the future of the MCU for a while now, but if there's one project we should all be looking forward to, it's Secret Invasion. Even if you've lost hope in the MCU recently, this is one project that you do not want to miss out on. Trust me. With the concerning release of recent MCU projects like Thor: Love and Thunder, She-Hulk, Ant-Man, and the Wasp: Quantumania, and a lot of other projects, many people are super nervous about the future of the MCU. Secret Invasion, while only a TV show, lies as a direct link to future MCU projects and truly delves into the story of the Skrulls and how they've been involved in shaping the Earth through the infiltration of society for years. Secret Invasion is interesting because it's going to be completely different from anything we've ever seen before. The only thing even remotely similar to this plotline is the Winter Soldier and Hydra's infiltration of the government, which is a somewhat human version of Secret Invasion. I think the most fascinating part of this show is that any person in it could be a Skrull, leaving us with the foreboding anxiety about the unknown. This plot is a perfect setup for plot twists, betrayals, and all with the perfect reason, because this show's entire premise is based off of shapeshifters. This can be shown at the end of Spider-Man Far From Home when Nick Fury turns into a Skrull, and we realize that he's been off Earth for years on a mission to better understand the Skrulls after Captain Marvel. This leads us to the main character of Secret Invasion, Nick Fury. Fury being the main character is huge for the MCU, considering that every single time he's been on screen, it's because something is seriously wrong. Fury is a great character that is unapologetic for his actions and doesn't have time for corny humor. He's a perfect character for this show, and we've been seeing the build-up to this show since Captain Marvel when the Skrulls were introduced to us as the victims of the Kree. This plot synopsis doesn't leave us any free time for poorly developed subplots like She-Hulk or weird humor like Thor: Love and Thunder. This show will be fast-paced and intense because any other scenario would be out of character for Nick Fury's screen presence. This show will be all about Nick Fury's mistakes and how they affect the world around him now. From the trailer of Secret Invasion, Marvel gives us a lot of information while also creating a certain vibe that the show will carry. It's important to note that a lot of the events that take place in the show will primarily refer to the events during the blip, as it is said that the Skrulls are taking advantage of a lack of superheroes on Earth. This can be understood by the question, where are the Avengers, in the trailer, which kind of lets us know that this takes place when the Avengers are mostly all missing. This show leaves a lot of potential. This could be the universally interconnected story that we've needed in phases 4 and 5 of the MCU recently. As seen in the trailer, multiple important long-term MCU characters are reprising their roles, including Fury, Maria Hill, and James Rhodes. Recently, there's been a huge issue in the MCU stories, and while I covered this in my This Will Kill the MCU Forever video, what I was talking about was a major disconnect between the projects that have come out recently. A lot of the shows and movies that we've gotten in phase 4 and phase 5 have been really disconnected. It hasn't felt like the universe that we once had. I mean, sure, there's some references and some cameos, but a lot of this stuff doesn't get talked about at all. I think it's really important for a universe to feel like a universe. Obviously, there is going to be the issue of certain characters not being able to come to certain projects because power scaling wouldn't work and some scenarios would be way too easy. For example, the Galaxy plotline would be far too easy for the street level plotline, but regardless, there should be references to interconnected plotlines throughout the story. I mean, this is what the universe is all about. It's so important for us to get interconnected stories, at least from time to time, and I think we need more of that right now. With so many projects coming out in phase 4, I think it's really necessary that there is more connection, considering that a lot of these projects feel like homework, and we'll be more likely to want to watch them if we're actually enjoying the screen presence of certain characters that we already know and love. Not only that, but little cameos and Easter eggs make the shows so much more enjoyable to watch.
It's better. Whoa. Costume's a bit much. It's so tight. But the confidence, I can feel the righteousness surging.
Anyways, let's focus more on the title of this video. Let's talk about the potential of Secret Invasion on a larger scale. Many shows in the MCU recently have had a lot of potential but felt like somewhat of a letdown due to not just the failure of the shows but also the failure of what happened after. For example, WandaVision was a great show. It was unique, well made, and overall well done. But the project that it directly led into was Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. You can hear the negative connotation in my voice because this movie really wasn't as good as it could have been. Sure, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great, and great is the bare minimum in the MCU. I think it's also important to note that this one show opened up many storylines more than just Multiverse of Madness. This show opened up storylines for Armor Wars, Vision Quest, and Agatha House of Harkness, but to be fully honest, I'm not super excited about any of these. Other shows that go head to head with WandaVision in terms of storyline importance are Loki and Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I think Loki is probably the most important show in the MCU due to the introduction of Kang, and he's gonna have an even larger role going on. Considering that Loki's been in the post-credit scene of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and Loki is the first show getting a season 2 in the MCU, this shows how vital the Loki show really is to the MCU. Anyways, earlier I mentioned Falcon and the Winter Soldier, so let's talk about the potential of the show and how, in my opinion, it already failed us in a way. Now, I mentioned this in earlier videos, but the reason Falcon and the Winter Soldier is actively failing is because there's a huge lack of acknowledgement of Falcon becoming Captain America. We haven't gotten a single reference to our new Captain America in a single project after Falcon and the Winter Soldier. This is not good because Falcon and the Winter Soldier is important. Falcon becomes Captain America, and this is like an absolute point in the MCU, and it's not mentioned a single time going forward. So how are we supposed to feel the importance of this role if it's just not mentioned at all? Hopefully going forward, Captain America 4 and the Thunderbolts do a better job of recognizing Sam so that the emphasis on the character can be really seen. Anyways, let's come full circle back to Secret Invasion. Now that I've talked about some of these other shows having a ton of potential, let's talk about Secret Invasion's potential and how it could fit into a larger world. The show isn't big in a new character introduction way, but more like a this could change the course of a street level storyline way. As I said before, Secret Invasion was much different in the comics. It took the effort of many Avengers level superheroes to stop the Skrull invasion, and many heroes died. I originally thought that Nick Fury could die at the end of Secret Invasion considering his one last fight line, but after the release of the Marvels trailer, I don't think that's possible anymore. With that being said, after this show's release, it's possible that we see a lot of political tension on Earth. We can see parallels to this in Age of Ultron and Captain America Civil War when Thunderbolt Ross and other government officials are nervous about the activity of the Avengers.
Our very strength invites challenge. Challenge incites conflict. And conflict breeds catastrophe.
I think these political tensions will lead us straight into Captain America 4, which could be about Sam re-normalizing the idea of superheroes from a political aspect. Obviously, this would be a separate subplot from the adamantium on Tiamat in Captain America 4, but I still think it's possible that the events of Secret Invasion lead us into Captain America 4 further. Not only that, but we could see much more instability when it comes to superheroes that aren't from Earth in the future. I think it's possible that the government does a generic government move and blames quote-unquote all aliens for the attack on Earth, and this includes the good ones. Overall, this show leaves so much potential for setups in the future, and I really want Marvel to deliver on this. I hope the story has an overarching plot that leads directly into the MCU on a larger scale, because Secret Invasion deserves to be more than just a 6-episode special. Now, it's just up to Marvel to deliver on this project, and I'm really hoping they can, because this show has more potential than almost any show in the MCU. I and many other fans are quickly losing patience in the MCU, but if there's one project that needs to be successful, it is this one. With that being said, I guess all we can do is wait because there's not much left to talk about anymore. Marvel, give us an amazing Secret Invasion.